Howdy, y'all.
Hi, guys.
It's Ryan.
And Angela.
RNA Music.
That's right.
Today we're wearing the shirts.
Yeah, we are.
Someone said,
We're representing.
No RNA last week.
Yeah.
Shirts.
Yeah, we're representing.
Your favorite mom and pop guitar shop music lesson studio deep in Heart, Texas.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday.
Yes.
We're filming on Friday. Anyways, I don't know what day it is where you are at. But we're going to do some Ask RNA. I can't see.
Yeah, I got something in my eye.
Got something in my glasses. Let's answer some questions.
All right.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Ask RNA. I think this is 267.
Okay.
Maybe. A lot of Ask RNAs. Angela and I are going to answer y'all's questions up in here.
Yep.
Right here, right now. So excited. Let's do it. First question, Stephen Scharf. Ryan, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever owned a Hamer guitar? I always wanted a Hamer Explorer, just like Rick Nielsen from Cheap Trick. Mm-hmm. Always thought Hamer made better guitar than Gibson. And here's a question for both of you. Do you think if the dead musicians from the 60s and 70s, if they were alive today, would still be playing music? So a double question from Stephen.
Mm-hmm.
Have I ever owned a Hamer? No, I have not.
Mm-hmm.
I have not. I did have a sales rep come in from one of our companies that represents Hamer, and he brought in some of their import ones. Like they have an import line, like, you know, Chinese, Indonesia, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, ooh, cool. You know, but I don't know that the imports are necessarily better than anybody else's imports.
Right.
You know, but I think if you're talking about the USA ones, I have never owned one. I don't think I've ever played a USA one. But everybody I know that has owned one or has played one says they're great.
Right.
And probably pound for pound, they probably are a little more consistent than an equivalent Gibson.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's hard to do for smaller companies to beat the bigger companies sometimes, because the big companies like Gibson's are focused on numbers and getting the maximum number of units out the door in the least amount of time to make the most money.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. I have not, if any of you guys or gals out there watching in YouTube land own a Hamer or have owned one, leave your comment below and let us know what you think about yours.
Let Steven know.
Let Steven know. All right, second question from Steven. Do you think if the dead musicians from the 60s and 70s, if they were alive today, would still be playing music? What do you think?
I think some of them. It depends on how and when they or why they started playing. You know, because you see all these heartbreaking stories about, you know, their parents made them and like companies made them and they were pressured in to keep on going even though they didn't want to. After they cut that first record, they'd love to stop, but they weren't because they were contracts, you know, obligated to keep going. So some of them, you know, died early and all this stuff, you know. So it depends on the person, but I think a lot of them, yeah, I think they'd still be doing it. I mean, look at Aretha Franklin before she died; she was still performing.
Yeah. Dolly Parton's
still going. Stevie Wonder's still going. I think if Marvin Gaye was still here, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, I mean, they'd be up there.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like Hendrix would still be playing probably.
You know, I mean, look at B.B. King; he played until
literally
until the end.
Les Paul.
You know, there's tons of people that kept going up until their 70s and 80s and 90s and loved it. So I think if they loved the music and they loved what they stood for and what they were trying to communicate through their music, then they would totally. I mean, look at Paul McCartney. He's still going even after many of his band members have died and gone on. So not many, too.
Yeah, that's a good example.
You know, he's played with many of the people who have died and gone on since the 60s. I mean, he played with all those guys, a lot of them. So, and he's still going.
I think probably, you know, because when you're thinking of the caliber of musicians like the Jimi Hendrix and the people who kind of changed the face of music.
Yeah.
Probably
Led Zeppelin.
I was just thinking of Led Zeppelin when we were talking about it. And I was just thinking, wait a minute, when's the last time Jimmy Page actually created music?
Yeah.
Or released something? I'm like, Jimmy Page is still out there doing stuff. He's still doing interviews. They did a Zeppelin reunion thing a couple of years ago.
Right.
But they didn't record a new record. You know what I mean? Robert Plant has put out some stuff.
Yeah.
You know, post Zeppelin, Robert Plant had a sort of solo career of doing his own thing. But
Right.
if you think about it like that, they haven't actually released anything new. I mean, but I understand Zeppelin was over. For them, it was over when John Bonham died. So, but I can't remember. It's like, when's the last time Jimmy Page released something
Right.
to the public? I don't know.
To the guys out there. But yeah. I totally think that they would. I think all
Yeah.
of them, for the most part. I mean, I think just like now we have like boy bands, girl bands that won't do anything because of how they entered into the music industry. And I think the same thing goes for a lot of the groups, singers that were like, look at the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
I mean, none of the brothers, they tried to release stuff, but outside of Michael, they just didn't, because of, I believe a lot of it had to do with because of how they entered into the music industry.
Yeah.
It wasn't because they just loved music. It was because they were performing, you know, they were just like little
Trained.
you know, they're trick ponies basically that their parents or their dad especially try to capitalize on. So depending on how they feel entered into the music industry, I think will depend on how they, you know, like you have like these Zeppelin guys who started it in their garages, that they were just these guys that were just having fun, stumbled on a few people who were just like, what, this is sick, and then they just exploded. They weren't like forced into it because they had the cute look, the cute style, the cute this.
Yeah, the cookie cutter
Yeah.
Disney approach to
They clawed their way up to the top and maintained it. I mean, you think of Metallica too, you think of, you know, Black Sabbath, you think of, you know, all these other people who really were just, and that, you know, you think of even Stevie Wonder, who was just, or Ray Charles, for goodness sake, he played from like the 30s up until the late 90s or early 2000s, you know, when he died at almost 100 years old. He was like 80 or something like that, but still, well, you know, that's almost 100 years old. But a lot of them, they did it because they just loved the music and it represented a part of who they were, not the industry.
It wasn't a machine. It was what you do. That's one of the good things I always say about music is like, you can literally play music until you die. Like, you're not going to be playing basketball when you're 56 years old. Not
I mean, you might.
I mean, maybe for
You
funsies.
because I think, you know, some of them guys, you know, I think Charles Barkley could still hang with the
maybe,
young guys.
but not for a full tournament.
I mean, he'd be icing everything.
Yeah, you know.
But I think he would. Michael Jordan could still hang.
Maybe.
You know?
I don't think he could. Not now. Not today.
You know? I
If
think
he
he'd
could-
give some of them a run for their money.
I think
honestly,
if he could, he would be.
Because a lot of those kids that I believe play today have like a quarter of the discipline that Michael Jordan has.
Oh, sure.
Even today. So
but
you know.
you can. I mean, music is something that you.
But I get what you're saying. It is true.
For sure do. Golf.
Because you just got.
I mean, you can play golf when you're
gotta
super
sit
old.
there.
You can play golf when you're super old. I know guys in their 80s like playing golf. Now, they're not playing competitively like when they were 30 or 40 or 28.
Right.
But you can still play golf at
What
80
is it?
years old.
What is it? Jack Nichols or whatever.
Jack Nicholson? The actor?
No. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
know. I'm not a golfer.
The
but
golf guy, the famous golf man. I was like, is it? What is it? Did you say Jack Nicholson? Dad's like, no, because my dad used to watch golf. But he played Jack Nichols or something. Like Nicholas.
You could.
He played
Nicholson.
until
Nicholson. I don't know.
he played
If I had a
until
nickel,
he
for
was, you know, a lot older, and he was like on it because some things that you just don't lose.
Well,
But-
yeah, and a certain amount of stuff is more about technique than it is muscle. It's more finesse than it is straight power.
Yeah.
You know, so it depended. But in general, music, you can just play.
You can sit and play the guitar.
Yeah, my favorite college professor I ever had, Dr. Wright, she still plays piano and organ, and she's amazing. And she's 70?
Something like
She's
that.
70? Or she's just ripping it. It's like, all right, you know, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe in her mind, she doesn't play as well as she did, say, 10 years ago, but
Right.
I don't know. She's still pretty dang good.
Right. That's
The
what I'm
average
saying,
person's like,
too.
have you seen?
It's like a lot of these people were such excellent, you know, they weren't just like half butting it.
Yeah, half butt.
And doing it half butt, you know, back when they were kids, they were like excellent. So these kids are at this, you know, like it's a different gauge. But yeah, to answer your question, yes. Steven.
Yes.
They told, I believe, 100% we would see some amazing old, very, very old people rocking it out.
Yeah, they'd be playing their greatest hits, though. Like,
Yes.
no one would be listening.
And I would pay good money.
No one would be listening to Hendrix's, 2015 new release. They'd be like, play All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
Because you go see bands now that they have new albums. Like, we don't want to hear your new album, Rolling Stones.
Play Hey Joe.
We want to hear this old stuff.
Yes.
We want to hear the hits.
Right.
That's what they want.
Use me while I kiss the sky.
So there's still,
I
think you have a split moment in time where like when you go see ZZ Top, nobody wants to hear the stuff off their new record. They want to hear all of the hits.
Yeah.
So I think at a certain point, you like...
Sharp dressed man.
You have your moment of fame, and maybe you maintain it, but it's still based on... I was reading something yesterday about the Black Album from Metallica. Still sells like 5,000 copies a week.
Nice.
5,000 copies a week right now.
Well, you think like people our age have grandchildren now.
We don't.
But people our age have grandchildren now.
That's true.
Who are starting to hear and listen to music that we grew up on.
Yeah. Kids like Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Obviously. All right, thanks for the question, Steven. Next question, Kabayoff. A growing concern of mine is amps. I never paid much attention to the details before about a year ago, and I'm in trouble. Matching organically grown knowledge of guitars spanning my adult life to a few months away from cheap modeling amps is daunting. There are a few nostrums, but no scripture. Where do I begin once the basic controls are out of the way? Is it purely ear exercise? Why are acoustic amps so brittle? Is this supposed to be appealing? What happens to the tone with a direct line into the PA? I'm not sure what the question is. Are you trying to figure out like how do I dial in an amp? It kind of sounds like what you're asking. How do I figure out how to get a good amp sound? That's what it seems like he's asking.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So, yes, it's by ear. And every amp is different.
And every player is different.
Yeah. Like, I can play on an amp and it'll sound one way, and someone else can play on it and it'll be like, I don't know. So there's a lot of
I've seen it where we have kids, young guys, girls come in and sit at the amp and adjust it and play a certain song, get up and go, and then someone come in and sit at the exact same amp. And someone sit at the exact same amp and turn the knobs a different way and play something and be totally satisfied. Oh, that's a great sound. And then by day, depending on who sits in week to week, they'll change it. They don't always just sit and go, oh, that's exactly the sound I'm looking for. No, everybody tweaks it to how they want. Yeah. They might want lows here and highs here and lows there and more bass, more treble. Like there's just so many different combinations, just like number combinations. There's so many sound combinations.
For sure. No, and a good start is, set everything at noon. That's a good baseline. Most every amp is built for everything to be set at noon. And that's your baseline of like, this is where it's kind of designed to function. And then you start twiddling the knobs, Maybe dial back the lows a little bit, maybe bump the highs a little bit, bump the mids a little bit, scoop the mids, push everything. It just depends on the sound you're going for too, which is, that's also very specific to a person. The sound I want out of this amp might not be what you want out of this amp. So it's absolutely, you got to sit down and fiddle with it. And
it's user accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. So you do have to kind of mess with them. Good amps, bad amps, get in there, mess with it, turn the knobs, find the sound that you like. And that's going to be the sound you like. Now someone else might absolutely hate your sound and think it's crap. Happens all the time. But you love it. So yeah, it's definitely just get in there, turn the knobs. It's not rocket science. Turn the knobs till you get a sound you like. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
With any amp, yeah.
Pretty much.
Why do acoustic amps sound so brittle? Because they're designed to replicate acoustic guitars going through a PA system, basically. It's not the same thing as an electric guitar amp. Electric guitar amps are built differently than acoustic guitar amps are.
Right.
They're built to have a lot of power, high power, and not overdrive. Because that's not what you want out of an acoustic guitar. Where electric guitar amps, more modern ones for sure, like we want to overdrive them. That's what everybody wants. So it's a whole different thing. And what happens to the tone direct line into a PA? Are you talking about like from an electric amp direct line into a PA, or are you talking about an acoustic amp directly into a PA or acoustic guitar directly PA. So I'm not sure what you mean by that question.
So each one will make it sound different.
Yeah. Generally,
the tone will be different.
Going direct with an electric guitar or an electric amp into the PA system sounds like hot garbage. Mm. You want to mic the speaker.
Yeah, you want something to be there to transition.
Yeah. Or you want to have some type of load box remodeling thing, because that affects the sound for sure. Because when you listen to an amp, we're not listening to the amp so much as we're listening to the speaker push the air. Mm-hmm. So that has a lot to do with it. The way that sounds versus the signal actually coming out of the amp. But there's some stuff in there, but the biggest thing I think to take away is like take your amp, turn the knob so you get something you like, and there you go. Mm-hmm. And who cares if someone else hates it or says it's crap? If you like it, you like it.
If you like the sound, it's your sound.
Some people hate Dimebag Darrell's guitar tone. They think it sounds like garbage. And some people are like, this is perfect. It's perfect for the sound he was doing and what he did.
Right.
Same thing, Randy Rhoads. People are like, Randy Rhoads was phenomenal, but his guitar sound was garbage. They're like, oh, blasphemy. But it's iconic. You remember it. Yes, whether you like it or not, who knows? Who cares? But thanks for the question. Next question, Walking Dead 1369, hashtag Star Trek, Starstruck, not Star Truck. Star Trucks. Star Trucks. Short one this week. I don't, you, if you've. Okay.
I don't know.
I was like, why is this confusing?
Because no is omitted.
I don't you, if you've been asked this before, but what is that gold top single cut up there behind you? So it's not just that I can't read. It was written kind of weird.
I don't know if you.
I don't know if you know. This is a pre-owned guitar. It's an Epiphone Les Paul gold top standard. Yep, Les Paul standard Epiphone gold top. Where is it made? Made in China. PRC, Grover Tuners. I think it's like a 2014 model. It's a 13. I think it's a 13. Got it from a guy, local guy, one of our oldest long-term sort of, I don't know if I'd call him a customer as much as more a hanger-outer. Because he just came.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, he eventually bought some stuff.
Yeah.
He's bought strings.
Be nice.
I have changed strings for him many times. Bought a Jet City amp. Anyways, he needed to sell some guitars for some cash for some very good reasons. And I wasn't necessarily in the market for a gold top or anything, but it's like, I know this guy. I was about to say kid. He's not a kid anymore.
No.
He's a man. He's a grown man. But I was like, all right, I'll buy it from you.
Yeah, so that's where that came from.
That's where it came from.
Yeah,
Les Paul.
that's what it is.
Epiphone, gold top.
There you go.
There you go. $350 plus shipping from RNA Music.
And it's yours.
For sale. $350 plus shipping. Thanks for the question, Walking Dead. Next question, Jeffrey Egan, hashtag Starstruck. These are not the movies you're looking for. That's hilarious. He liked that. Where was it? Okay. Speaking of which, I read an article not long ago talking about redoing the last 3 movies. We're talking about the last 3 Star Wars movies. They discussed 3 different possibilities. One with Disney redoing them. One with George Lucas doing them his way. And I can't remember the third. Either way, it's going to be Who Shot JR kind of thing. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
All that didn't really happen kind of thing. Calling it the Veil of the Force. What do you think about that? Okay. Is there another question?
I'm trying to get
Okay, no. All right, so he's saying there's discussion about remaking 7, 8, 9 of the Star Wars, movie franchise. Just redoing them completely, which I think it's probably, it would just be worse.
It's too late for that.
It's too late now. Oh, we were just kidding with that. Here's the real number 7. Like, no. You guys done screwed it up.
You done messed up.
You done messed up now, AA Ron.
Yes. I
would much rather want to see George Lucas redo them like, okay, here's the 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, but
I
George
would've
Lucas
made.
messed up 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, everybody hated 1, 2, and 3
So,
at the time.
I mean, 1, 2, and 3 could have been a whole lot better.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3 didn't even live up to
The casting of Anakin, period, just baby Anakin, adult Anakin-ish, was just hot garbage. Just bad acting, bad casting, just bad. Everybody else was fine.
Ewan McGregor was great.
Yeah, everybody else is fine. Can't go wrong.
Find you. I will kill you.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor. You can't go wrong with Samuel Jackson. You can't go wrong with those kind of people in your cast. You just can't.
Yeah.
That's a great cast.
Even Django was like.
But the main character that the whole entire franchise is fringed on, you picked a nobody whom nobody likes. Yeah,
That's like
you messed up.
having Tom Cruise be, well, not even Tom Cruise.
No.
It's like even having like a nobody be Iron Man instead of Robert Downey Jr.
It's like having Will Ferrell be Iron Man. It's like, why?
Yeah. What you needed was a Robert Downey Jr. who is flawlessly.
Like he was created
He
to
was
be that
born
person.
to play Tony Stark.
Yes.
And, you know.
Whom they should have gotten to play young Anakin was the man who Starkiller was.
Oh, yeah.
At that time, he would have been a perfect age because he was right off of Smallville playing, what was it?
What's his name? Sam
Something.
Whitworth?
Yes, he is an amazing bad guy actor because he looks like he could be your friend, but there's something behind his eyes that says, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know
What's
what I'm
his
saying?
face?
Like he pulls that off.
From the Force Unleashed video game.
Yes.
Because even in the cutscenes, I mean, it's his face. Like,
yeah, that they put on the Force Unleashed.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic.
That would have been superb.
The Force
and all they
Unleashed
could have gotten
video
is just
game
like a little angsty,
was
little
better.
dark-haired kid.
Oh, yeah. But
You
in
know, and
retrospect, after experiencing 7, 8, 9, now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, going, it wasn't that bad.
Which
At the time, we were like, hey, what is going on, George? Come on. And now we're like, hey, they're not that
It's
bad.
like any abusive relationship that you go through whenever you get out of like the worst relationship ever and you look back at the turd buckets that you dated before and you're like, he wasn't that bad. When really he was. It's just
bad.
that person you just left was just like
Worse.
North Korea of relationships. Like you don't want anyways. If they do anything, what they should do is go way back before.
They're doing that.
Or they should go Alphas.
What?
Or
Way in the future?
Or they should go and do the scenes between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're supposedly...
With Anakin and Ahsoka, but then you'd have to bring frickin' Hayden Christensen back.
They're bringing him back for like the Obi-Wan thing.
I mean, he's an adult now and he's been through some
think-
stuff, so I think he probably would have done better.
I think he'll
do
do
better.
Honestly. How could you do worse?
It gives me like stomach ulcers talking and thinking about this because
More Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Thanks for the question, Jeffrey. We can't handle this. We got to be in a happy mood before lessons
we have
start.
children showing up soon.
Next
so
question, David
let's
Morales,
get this moving.
# Star Trek. RNA, God bless. My question is, Epiphone Socal 50, would you recommend as a good idea for my first tube amp experience? I love blues tones and would rather sound like the cap than the chaff. Just for reference, don't you know? If the amp is good to be at that price, it's $200, so I'm seeking your expertise. Thanks in advance. I don't know a lot about the Socal 50. I almost bought a really cheap Epiphone tube amp, the one that just had a volume knob, and that was it, several years ago. Because I was just looking for a cheap little amp at the time, and for like pedal platform type thing. And I played one, and I was like, that's not bad. The price was definitely right. So that's the only experience I have firsthand with Epiphone amps. So I'm not sure on that one. The price is right though, so if any of you guys have tried or played the Socal 50 from Epiphone, help David out. I like to recommend, I do have some experience if you can find like a Jet City, because we were Jet City dealers back in the day when they had dealers. Now they have like an exclusive agreement with a big retailer, but the Jet City stuff I thought was great and priced really well and had good tone for tube stuff back in the day. Mm-hmm. Also the orange, if you get into the Terror stuff, now you're not talking $200 though. You're looking like
right.
$500-600, $400-600 for the orange Terror stuff, but it's worth it. The Jet City stuff was about half the price of the orange, mm-hmm. and so we tended to sell more of the Jet City stuff. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, they're both 20 watts, 15 watts, tube. How could they be much different? The orange was different. Oranges make me tired as well, right? How late did you stay up?
I didn't stay up late at all. I went to bed.
How late did I stay up?
Like 11:30, which is early for me.
How late did I stay up?
I have no idea.
We won't talk about it.
Okay.
We will not discuss that. The Jet City stuff, though, was good. It's priced closer to that price range. The orange stuff is more, but there's a sound difference. Mm-hmm. You start paying more, you'll notice it. But
yeah,
y'all help David out. Let him know with the Epiphone Socal 50. Mm-hmm. I like to get you a good used orange Terror or a Jet City. We still use a Jet City, even though we're not dealers anymore. We still have a 20 watt, one of the original ones we use in a lesson room. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. Thanks for your question, David. Next question, just fun guitar. Here's my question for this week: did Sam Houston play an instrument or have any pets? I don't know, man. He's been dead a long time, so.
And so have his pets.
If he had it.
I think he actually had like a famous horse.
I think he had a horse. I was about to say, yeah, he had a horse.
Yeah.
He had a horse.
Yeah, he had to in Texas.
Everybody had horses.
In Texas. Especially where he lived.
Or somewhere.
He was born in Virginia. He died in Texas.
That's all anyone could ever hope for.
That's a life.
That's
the end.
You've made it.
Yes.
You've succeeded in life.
Yes. We were just talking about this because I don't really remember, and my dad will just shoot me because his favorite history is Texas history.
Her dad was a Texas history teacher.
Well, he was a social studies teacher, but he loved getting to teach Texas history. And Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, the Alamo, all of it, Santa Ana, like all of it, he just loves to talk about. Yeah. My dad is a true historian. So I knew a few things. I was really proud of myself that I remember that Sam Houston was the first Texas president when we were, and the third.
Yeah. I didn't know crap. I was like, I don't know.
We have a giant statue of him in Texas.
A giant statue of Sam
right outside of Houston.
Yeah.
And Houston is named for Sam Houston.
Yeah, but Austin is named after Stephen F. Austin.
That's right.
Our state capital is named after Stephen F. Austin. Oh, what's this hat I got on?
Yes.
Stephen F. Austin.
Which is hilarious that Houston is not
of
the capital of Texas, which is interesting. That
well, I was reading up yesterday.
Even though he was our first president.
I'm like, I have no idea if he played an instrument. Probably not. Or a pet. So I was looking.
If he did, he played like the mouth fork or spoons or harmonica.
Yeah.
Banjo.
He's an interesting character as I was reading. I found one that said Sam Houston, warts and all, was like the biography. Like, not just be like, he was a great man and he was la.
No, he was
like people lie about history. Like,
he was a horrible person.
Blah, 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 blah. And history looks back on these people and like, oh, they were so amazing. George Washington was just the
Sam Houston was not. I remember him not being that great of a person because he kept he wanted to keep slaves and even the Mexican Americans or Mexican Texicans.
The Texicans. The Mexican citizens.
Under his thumb. Like,
but
it wasn't a good thing.
He was super into like Native Americans being like treated equally. So it was like strange. Like he really loved the Native American people.
Interesting.
Got him a Native American wife. Mm-hmm. At least once or twice.
Yeah.
But then did own slaves. So it's like, wait a second.
It's weird.
It was, I don't know he had a horse.
Like most men back then.
Everybody had a horse.
It's complicated. We weren't there, so we can't judge too harshly because we weren't there. But I don't know. I doubt it. But if he did, it was something really country.
They didn't have time for music back then. They were too busy killing. and surviving.
Remember that mini series that came out about Texas?
Yes.
Whatever happened to that? We started it.
They
we didn't
won.
finish it. Well, we got
They
to
lost.
right before they went to the Alamo.
That's right.
And we never finished it. How did we not finish
We
it? It was
didn't
on the
wanna-
History Channel, wasn't it?
We didn't want to watch it. I was like, I don't want to see them all get killed.
Yeah, because we started getting invested in.
I was like, it was
Oh, they're
emotional.
like, oh, there's Davy Crockett
That's
or what
right.
was it? Daniel Boone. It was
Daniel Boone. Danny Boone. I call him Danny.
Yes,
That's-
because they're
Because
best friends.
we were bros like that.
Yeah.
Got to go read up on my Texas history
That
now.
was Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
Daniel Boone was.
I call him David. He was David to me.
See, we don't even remember our own Texas history, so there you go. What
Who
kind
has
of
time
Texans-
to study
what kind of
history?
Texans are we?
I got stuff to do today that's relevant. Thanks for the question, Chris. Next question. Fat philosopher, is it a good idea to start playing bass while you're still learning guitar? Better to be competent on one before starting the other. That's a great question. I was thinking about that as I copied it and pasted it to my page, and I was like, I had conflicting thoughts, actually. But I'm going to go with our recommendation that we give to parents when they come in. They're like, hey, my kid wants to take piano lessons. Can they do guitar and piano at the same time? It's like, not a good idea, usually, because your kid is probably not going to practice
Gonna be a little overwhelmed.
30 minutes every single day on the piano
And
then go do 30 minutes every single day on the guitar or
And
the
still-
drums.
And still
or,
play basketball, do gymnastics, karate, taekwondo.
in the beginning. Now, what we usually say is like, give one about a year. Like, play the piano for a year, play the guitar for a year, play the drums for a year, then try to then maybe think about adding a new instrument to the mix. You know, you really want to be pretty laser focused on whatever you're working on at the time. It doesn't mean you can't add to it later. But building a strong, solid foundation on one instrument, I think first is always a good idea. Trying to build two foundations at one time. Stuff. I worked construction many years ago, and I worked for a guy, and we were building houses. And anytime we had two houses going at the same time, it was a nightmare. When we could build one house at one time, it was like, man, focus, get it up. As soon as he's like, I'm gonna take on this other job, we're gonna have two different crews going at two different. I'm like, okay. And of course, it was a wreck. So I think
people didn't get paid, and people.
it was bad. It
liens
ended badly.
happened on properties. And
It was
blah, blah, blah.
no. They should have. I should have filed a lien, but I didn't. Whatever. Get a solid foundation footing on one, and then start the other. Now, you're never done. Like you never like. I have learned the guitar. I have mastered the guitar. Now I am a complete master of the guitar. I shall start my bass journey. You'll never master the guitar. You'll be learning until you die. But get a solid footing on one. Now there are some crossover points with guitar and bass. There are some similarities, and you know your frets and your notes are the same. So knowing where your notes are should help. So there is some bleed over into those.
Right.
So those are probably the easiest to like do guitar and maybe add some bass to it, compared to I'm gonna play guitar and I want to learn drums, or I'm gonna play piano and I want to play guitar, or I'm gonna play piano and I want to play drums. You know, there is a little bit of overlap there. So of all of them to play, those would be the easiest to kind of combine. But I don't know, you know, you're cute. I got distracted by your cuteness. I was like, what was I saying? Bass, guitar, something.
Foundation.
Foundations.
Okay.
Build a
There you
strong
go.
foundation.
There you
You
go.
don't have to be a master of the guitar, but just build a solid foundation, and then
Yeah. Don't
Add to it.
confuse yourself.
that's my opinion. What do I know?
And that's my business.
Thanks for the question, Fat Flosser. Next question, Victor G1243. Star Trucks.
You were
I should've said
on
Star
the Star
Treks.
Treks.
Star Trekking across the universe. Star Trekking. That's the. All right. What's your favorite video game, Angela? I know the answer to this one.
Right now.
Klondike.
Klondike is my favorite video game.
Klondike. Y'all ever played it? You get to raise chickens and raise moo cows and chop down trees, and
Yeah.
like, then your chickies die and you get really sad. Quack, 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 quack. Oh man, my chicken's died. Like, oh no. Tell us about it.
I killed a chicken because I didn't feed it. No, actually, you process. You know, they lay eggs only so many times before they die, and then
We'll clarify. This is a mobile game.
Yes.
On your phone.
It is on
there's
my phone.
There's a game called
Klondike. And it's basically, you're a Native American and you're going through, and well, there is a Caucasian guy that
You can be a white guy.
Yeah, you can be a white guy. Or there's a prospector, there's trade, and so you're in the Klondike area and you're going through
turn of the century kind of thing.
So you're, tilling up land and forging, all this
I
stuff.
should play it.
It's fun.
Could we join? Could we have a tribe together?
I don't know if you can invite people.
Surely. Most of these games you can be like, I'm in a tribe with these other Klondikers.
Yeah, that would be great if I can find other people to play with, because it's just me.
Clash of Clans.
Kind of just sitting there. I mean, there's people just standing there, so I don't know if I invite them, they'll actually start moving around and talking with me and help me build.
You've been playing this a lot lately.
I have, because it's very interesting. I love stuff like this. So
it makes me feel good. Cause
right now I'm trying to put together a rifle so I can shoot a bear, because he's protecting. So
he won't kill your chickens.
Gold.
Oh, the bear's protecting the gold?
Yeah, he's protecting this box, like this safe box, and inside of it usually has health and life and time and all this other things that I can trade for rope and,
It would be nice is if they would sponsor this video.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Sponsor
Other than
us.
that, I don't play any video games. Like, I tried to, the last
What's
video
your favorite
game,
console game?
Oh gosh. I have a Game Boy game. Does that count?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of a console.
Is Professor Latham. I'm a dork. I don't have it's a puzzle game, if you don't know what Professor Latham is.
On DS, Nintendo DS.
Yes. 3DS.
3DS.
Sir.
3DS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He's like Sherlock Holmes, and he has this little sidekick, and they go through, and it's like
You're
British.
solving mysteries.
And yes, and there's a mystery to be solved, and you go through the town trying to find all these clues, and each clue is attached to a puzzle that's like a mind, that helps you with stimulate your mind and your brain. So some of them are actually really hard puzzles, and some of them are just like, oh yeah, you just get the car over here, and then oh, you figured it out, and so the next clue, and you're traveling through this town. It's really cute. I enjoyed it. The boys are like, it's too hard. I don't know. I like puzzles.
Because you gotta think. It's not just pulling triggers.
Yes, I like puzzles, and I love actually putting together puzzles. I do.
You don't have a favorite Xbox game?
Mm-mm.
Favorite PlayStation game?
I tried to get into Lara Croft, but that was just way too many buttons and trying to kill. I thought I would, because I liked Lara Croft. I liked watching it when he played it.
Yeah.
On PlayStation. Was it on PlayStation?
PS1.
Yeah, like in the early days.
Back in the day.
Before Angelina Jolie portrayed her. It's who she portrayed in the show, the one that we were used to. Anyways, so yeah, that was the last one I really kind of got into, but
Super Mario. Mario Sunshine.
Yeah, Super Mario Sunshine. I'm such a 5-year-old, or a 12-year-old. Yeah, that and Mario Galaxy. I played that for a little while. That was fun.
Yeah.
But
right now it's Klondike on mobile gaming.
Yeah. It sounds like the theme song that plays on loop sounds like Green Acres.
It does.
Like a mesh between Green Acres and Bonanza.
Ba-doo-ba-doo-doo.
Ding, ding, ding.
Every time she's over there, I'm like, you raising chickens over there?
You hear this.
I'm over here killing stuff and running for my life, and she's over here raising chickens. Makes me feel good though, because you're over there, you've been playing this game for hours, and I'm like, I don't feel so guilty playing the Xbox. You're over there.
Well, every time then I'll switch over and I'll edit something, and then I'll switch back over because I'm waiting for something to be forged and baked or melted, or cows to make butter. And I know cows don't make butter, but
stuff from
I need my cows to produce their milk so I can send it over to the dairy. So my 6 workers, and then you have workers like natives that are working employees, and you have to build them houses, and they have to you're housing all these people. But then it's I need to churn some butter. Well, they're like, well, you don't have enough workers for that. Phone. These are office hours, so.
We are during office hours. Talking about chickens, raising chickens.
Yeah.
Virtual chickens.
Yes. So that's why I've been playing. There you go. let's just wrap that up.
Phone call messed me up. All right. Nobody wants to know what I'm playing. That's fine. Bubba Fang with the next question. Sorry I made you upset, LOL. And yeah, I agree about The Hobbit as well. Question. What concert/singer have you seen or always wanted to see, and why? Mine was Queen and Led Zeppelin. DVDs and TV clips aren't the same. Hashtag Starstruck. Hashtag KTMA. Hashtag Music Legend. What concerts have you seen or always wanted to see, and why? Well, the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
So that's like, there's too many to list, probably.
Yeah.
One I haven't seen that I just thought about was, I never saw, did I see Black Sabbath?
Probably not Black Sabbath.
I've not ever seen Black Sabbath.
Ozzy.
I've seen Ozzy a couple of times, Ozfest. But lately, yesterday I was watching a video, a guy was talking about why Black Sabbath is great and why they were an influence, and he had a live thing from like, I think 2015, 2017, one of their reunion tours, and he was like, this, for him, and he's around my age, he was like, this was like a religious experience. This one show in Virginia, and it was raining sideways, and Black Sabbath came on and played, and it was just like he'd been to a bunch of shows, but that one particular one was like amazing, or whatever. And so he was breaking down why Black Sabbath is fantastic, and I was watching, I was like, they are good live. Like, yeah, they're great. And I've taught a couple of Black Sabbath songs recently. I'm like, let's go check out a live version, because let's, you can really see what he's playing or where his hand position is. Because sometimes you get the tab for a song, it's like, that's not right. It's the right notes, but it's the wrong position or whatever.
Right.
Let's go find out what they do live. And I was like, oh, this is so good. Oh man, they're so good. But I never saw Black Sabbath. So that would have been cool. Obviously never seen Led Zeppelin, but that wasn't an option. Like, in my lifetime.
Right.
They stopped when I was old, way before I was old enough to go to concerts. So one I actually could have gone to probably, but never did, was Black Sabbath. That would have been cool. What about you, Law? Evanescence.
Yeah.
You've always wanted to see them.
I have seen them, and that was fine.
It was okay.
It was okay. Yeah, for my first, literally, that was my first rock concert. Quote unquote.
Rock concert.
Was Evanescence. Non-Christian concert was Evanescence. And that was my last non-Christian concert. Oh, no. Alter Bridge.
Alter Bridge, yeah.
Yeah. Two bands I did not care for.
But you
really don't listen to.
Warefoot? You've been to some Warefoot
yes,
shows?
Yes, Warefoot. Yeah. There you go.
That counts.
That counts.
That was a concert.
That I would actually like to go to, that I know he'll never take me to. Let's see.
Michael Bublé.
Josh Groban. Michael Bublé has too much of a potty mouth, even in his concerts. That as much as I love his music, I don't really care to listen to that.
His onstage banter is...
Yeah. So I'm just like, I'm not paying you money to listen to you swear at me. I just don't want to do that. So there's that. And honestly, once I saw that, I stopped listening to him.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I just can't.
It's like,
it's like,
you ruined it.
You honestly did. He can't have singing love songs and then dropping the F-bomb. It doesn't make sense to me. So Josh Groban would definitely be up there.
Because he's a professional.
And I've heard him swear and do stuff like that, but not in concert. It was always backstage, when he did stuff, and it was just it wasn't to make himself look cool, I guess, in an audience full of women and teenage girls, because that's usually who only goes to see those guys. So Josh Groban, definitely. Adele, definitely.
Hers sell out.
Yeah,
immediately.
It's hard to get, and now she's not doing it, so it would be hard to, unless she did something in England, somewhere.
She's not doing it.
From.
She's taking a break, because then when she comes back to do it, they'll sell out immediately. Smart.
Well, she's lost so much weight that she hasn't really been in the limelight at all because of it, and now that everybody's being such butts about her losing weight.
Imagine how much better she's gonna feel though when performing.
She won't be so sweaty.
Well, you can put on a concert.
Herself, yeah.
It'd be doing a long show would be so much easier now. I'm sure she will.
So yeah, those two definitely. I would have said early 20s. Angela would have said like Celine Dion and Whitney Houston because Whitney was still alive then. Definitely.
It's the 2020s right now, Angela. What you talking about?
Yeah,
Early,
I
it
know.
is the early 20s.
Yeah, my 20s.
Oh,
so in the
when you were 20.
late 90s.
Late 90s, Angela would have said. Celine.
Yeah, Celine Dion and both Whitney Houston. That would be awesome to have heard Whitney Houston in concert. Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's about it. I don't really have anybody that I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. And childhood Angela would have loved to see Barbra Streisand.
Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, before
she went
you
real
know,
nuts.
Yeah, before the Clinton administration.
Pre-Clinton era Barbra Streisand.
Yeah. Where she went real super uber liberal and
Wow.
all she talks about is just hating people and stuff. And I'm like, God almighty, just sing.
Yeah.
It's like we can disagree on that kind of stuff. That's fine, but just God almighty.
More
sing.
singing, less politicking.
Oh, and Cyndi Lauper.
Oh yeah.
I love me some Cyndi Lauper. So yeah.
There you go, Bofang.
There you go.
Thanks for the question. A little bit happier than Star Wars questions. Next question. Big Johnson, #Starstruck. What is the strangest guitar? What's the strangest string guitar you have ever seen played? I saw Justin Johnson's video where he plays a 3-string shovel guitar. He's pretty amazing playing that 3-string guitar.
Interesting.
Probably the 1-string shovel. I've seen a 1-string.
Yeah, I think you
thing.
showed that to me because what was it like? Tim Worley shared it or something.
Probably. That.
That is weird.
Yeah. Or what's his face from the White Stripes? Jack White did the thing with Jimmy Page and The Edge, the little documentary thing. It Might Get Loud. At the beginning, he nails 2 nails to a board and ties a wire to it and wires up a thing. It's like, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or what's
Make an instrument.
your student? What's his name? Mark, who turned a turntable into into a guitar.
Yeah. Mark, one of my former students, had a turntable record player and turned it into a guitar. Like Bill put a pickup in it, put a neck on it. Like that was pretty cool because he did it himself.
Yeah.
And I attached a bolt-on neck and wired it in a pickup, and I was like, "That's pretty cool, man."
Yeah.
It's pretty.
I love that he brought it
ingenuitive.
here to show it to us.
Yeah, he was
so
proud of it. It's like, "Hey, Ryan."
And he should be.
He
'Cause
should,
That was
yeah,
great.
it's pretty cool.
That was really great. Yeah.
So there you go, Big Johnson. That's probably the strangest, I guess. And final question. Fat philosopher. Personally, I think Hollywood should let both Star Wars and Star
It's
Trek.
another Fat Philosopher song. You already
Oh
did
yeah,
Fat
wait.
Philosopher.
Why did that happen? Oh, I guess because when I was scrolling through the questions, I just pick them in order.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happens. So it was further along.
So technically, Big Johnson was the last, but now
Well,
Fat Philosopher gets the final say.
I select them in the order they were asked.
Yes.
From most recent to further back as I scroll through the comments.
Right.
Final question, and too bad it's a Star Wars question, because it's gonna,
Dag, Star Trek.
Dang.
Oh, it is Star Wars
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Star Trek.
It says, I think Hollywood
Good
should let
God.
Star Wars and Star Trek die off and let some new talent spin some new tales for a new age. Do you guys agree? Place a 15-year limit on any franchise. Oh.
Oh gosh. If 15-year limit on Star Wars happened, it would be like the 80s,
You're throwing away money.
like 1990 would have capped it off.
I will say this. I don't think
We wouldn't have next generation.
The Star Trek stuff was good. I mean, the reboot, J.J. Abrams did the whole thing. Like, they did a pretty good job of it. Like, it looked good, and we watched those movies. And it wasn't,
I think
they
they're
weren't
great.
They weren't terrible. But I would agree that I think they should have left Kirk and Spock and all them alone. And, like, the last 3 Star Wars movies, like, bring back Harrison Ford and Carrie, is a whole nostalgia grab. They should have left that alone. Continue in the universe for sure, but like for Star Wars movies, I would have loved to seen them go back like 1,000 years into like 1,000 years before A New Hope, but like, I mean, the Old Republic. Which the next stuff they're supposed to be doing is supposed to be like 400 years before New Hope. I'm like, screw that. Go back 1,000. Because 1,000 years before it, stuff wasn't that much different. It was basically the same. 1,000 years.
Yeah, because Yoda would still be alive.
Yeah, 400 years before New Hope, Yoda can make an appearance. I'm like, why are you doing that? It wouldn't even be young. It's like middle-aged Yoda, still training Jedi. 400 years before.
What is he saying? When 900 or 700?
900.
900. Okay, see, yeah.
Look as good you will not.
You will be.
He's like, for 800 years have I trained Jedi.
Yes.
My own counsel I will keep on who will be trained.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
That ran through my brain literally like 3 days ago. And I was like, why am I thinking about that?
I think it would be nice to get some new spins off of, with some kind of nod towards, you know, what we've known. Transporters and lightsabers, like something that would be in the same kind of vein, not exactly replicating, but some, you know, because technology like laser pistols and stuff has gone through every single space show that there's been in. So it would be neat to have something kind of nod towards that in the same kind of galaxy, but not so much. Just like you have Avengers and DC. Both are universes with superheroes in them. You know, they have like a Hulk type character on both sides. You have Supermans on both sides.
Some make terrible movies.
Yes. So it would be cool, but it's never going to be the same, and no one's going to truly like them because we have something that is there that we can always lean on. I don't think, like Ryan said, that they should keep
they went
pushing
for the safe
for like, I don't think they should make another Star Trek at all.
Movie?
Anything.
Oh.
They're like really just running that thing to the ground. Like to the ground. Like there's so much Star Trek. There's so much. And it's a great universe and everything, but dear God Almighty.
What's the one we just been watching?
Enterprise.
Yeah, we just started watching Enterprise on Netflix.
Uh-huh.
It's not bad. I mean, I'm not a Trekkie. But I was like, we're watching it, and I was
the
like...
The theme song is just, like, so dumb.
That is
like
stupid.
Rod Stewart or somebody singing.
Why did they do that? That was absolutely stupid.
Like a long road. Like, why?
That's not how Star Trek does their theme songs. What are you doing? But, you know, it was on playing, I stopped, I was walking through the room, I was like, what is this? I'm like, oh, this is the...
I'm watching it, don't get me wrong, because I'm a Trekkie.
And I started watching it, and I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. It kind of, like, sucked me in for a minute. I was like...
Because it's pre Captain Kirk.
It's pre-Kirk.
Yes. So that right
Which
there.
Is smart.
Yes. But then you start looking at things. You're like, why do they have that kind of? Oh, because it's pre-Kirk. Why does their bridge look like that? Oh, because it's pre-Kirk. It's literally like in the year 2100.
Yeah.
Which is closer to our age, which makes sense. But now our technology now is past the technology from the old Star Trek movies. So to make it not look like what it is truly is now, but they're trying to make it nod towards the old stuff and even the outfits and everything. And it's just kind of funny that they're doing that, even though we know that, hey, we're getting close to the year 2100. Obviously, things are a whole lot better than, other than transporters, we pretty much have everything else. Other than space travel and transporters.
I don't want to not see any more Star Wars stuff ever. I would like to see it, but I didn't.
But they need to change their path.
They should not have done the whole. This is because you know you had Leonard Nimoy come back and he was like, oh, fan service, and like, oh, this is a young Kirk and a young. I'm like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, because the
I don't want to see young
ripped
Indiana
between
Jones.
Universes.
I don't want to see any of that crap. Just do another like Star Trek. All right,
they're going to be doing another Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
With Harrison Ford.
Just do it like however many 200 years after Picard.
What they should do is have old Harrison Ford and Sean Connery as his dad.
Is Sean Connery still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. But the thing is, it would still make sense because Sean Connery had the thing of life pour on him, so his age would have slowed
the cup
down.
Of Christ.
It would have slowed down. And so, even though Harrison Ford's like almost passing up his dad's
that would
age,
be cool.
So
Maybe.
Really, because Harrison Ford and Sean Connery are only like 10 years apart.
But don't kill Harrison Ford in the stupid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would love to hear Sean Connery say Junior one more time.
Yeah.
I would love it.
I think they should.
Because he's a cutie.
I don't know. Who knows what they're going to do? They're going to do whatever that makes them the most money. They're going to do whatever they think is going to make them the most money.
Right.
That's what they're going to do. And cash grabs and fan service and nostalgia always makes money. Generally, at first, and then we all hate it because like that was a cheap grab that I fell for 3 times.
Line and sinker.
I fell for it 3 times. He said he would never hit me again, and I went back, and then he hit me.
Yes.
Dang it, J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, he did. He hit you
He
good.
smacked me right in the emotions.
In the eyeballs.
I don't agree on the 15-year limit,
Make fun of that.
but I do think they should thoroughly rethink how they do that. Like, I enjoyed The Mandalorian, but it's like a whole new set of characters. There's no real, there's a special guest appearance from Yoda. Special guest appearance. Oh, look, there's Chewbacca in The Mandalorian. You know, I mean, they are going to introduce Boba Fett, so crap. This next season, Boba Fett's going to be in that. But I would kind of like to see that, because he didn't really have much of a role in the other ones. They were like, you had this amazing character
That everybody likes.
that everybody loved, who barely did anything.
Yep.
Now this is a double-edged sword. They're either going to introduce him and we're going to be disappointed, or we're going to be like, that's what I thought he would be like. Yeah, that's what, they should have done this in the movies. Why are the movies so stupid? That's what'll happen. That was the final question. We got stuff to do. So, thank you guys so much.
We do. Ooh.
Thank you guys so much for all the questions. We'll see you in the next video. If you have a question for next video, tap it below with your commentary. And if you watch this whole video, I don't know how long this one was. Probably forever.
Ever.
Again. Dang it. If you watch the whole thing, let us know. Special secret hashtag of the day is hashtag Klondike.
Okay. There you go.
Is that what you were going to say?
Nope.
You didn't have anything?
was going to say Sam Houston. But go for it.
Oh, I like Klondike better?
Yeah, Klondike's better. That's good.
Hashtag Klondike. Go play the game. Maybe they'll pay us. Who knows? We'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, keep the music alive.
Don't forget it.
Music needs you.
And you need the music.
And we need to keep it alive for the next generation. Make it so. And
Engage.
yeah. All right, we'll see you guys next video. Bye.